Sorry.
God, I don't even know. I don't even know what else I've been up to. It's just kind of been a whirlwind these past couple of weeks. Oh, and then another exciting bit of news. I really, really wanted to come up with a very short, like, musical blurb that you could play here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to have to settle with, get ready for the most anticlimactic announcement of all time.
Well, here we are again. It's been a while since I've wanted to talk to myself, and I do these particular intros for myself to remind me why I'm doing this. See, over the last couple of weeks, obviously we weren't online, something was going on. It was that ear infection issue that pops up every so often. Now, basically, me and my ears have always had this hate, want to kill me relationship that surfaces every 3 to 4 months or so. This one, unfortunately, from literally one day to another, went from a dull ache to about the worst thing I've ever felt. So, went to urgent care, got some stuff to try to knock it out, and they gave me, some painkiller that really should do something. And they told me, hey, if you still experience issues, go to the ER. We'll get you something stronger. We'll figure it out. So I literally go to the ER within 20 hours of that one because the pain is again intensified. So as I'm sitting there in the ER and they fill me with morphine and the pain is still going and I'm just getting reminded of 2018 when this happened and we didn't catch it in time and it started affecting the bones in my face and the infection caused my face to paralyze halfway through. It's called Bell's palsy, but the infection basically affected the nerves in my face. And I remembered the feeling I had after getting out of the hospital that last time. Half of my face frozen, feeling such a level of regret that I never did streaming or even voice acting. So as I'm reliving this whole incident again, 6 years later, going through the same motions, getting a CT scan, sitting in the tube, listening to not the music, but listening to the machine whir and buzz around me. And here I am again thinking, did I wait too long? Did I not do enough? Is this happening again? Now that I have a foothold, a beginning, and I see traction, am I about to lose this opportunity one more time? And that's the feeling I think that I need to hold on to, because that hopelessness drives me to want to succeed in this endeavor. And I have time. I have so much time because I'm not seeing myself going 100% on this until at least 7 more years. So a couple things. Don't give up. And again, I'm talking to myself. If you go away for a couple of days, it's no problem. Jump back on the horse. Stop procrastinating. You have a goal. 3 auditions isn't bad, and you generally have so much fun that you do it more. Building a habit is difficult sometimes. It's annoying sometimes. Going to the gym. Building the habit of going to the gym isn't easy. It's something that you work at. It's something that you try to get used to. This is no different. And if you fall down, or if you get your feelings hurt, it doesn't matter. Get up, learn from it, keep going. And I think not only am I talking to myself there, but now I'm talking to you. If you've tried this and somebody has given you some sort of bad criticism, don't worry. Learn from it. Don't let it deter you. Every voice has a place in this business. You just have to work hard at it. You just have to endure and don't take things so personally. Let's get on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are, where you are listening to this. Welcome to Cold Read the Podcast by voice actors for voice actors. Intro was by me, And again, I like to check in with myself every now and then. Hopefully the next time I'm feeling down, I can bring these up and remind myself why I'm doing this. Hopefully that helps you out. If it did, do me a favor, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear it, because we love to hear from our listeners in one way or another. If you get a chance, hit that subscribe button, either where it comes here, or hit that like button if you're listening to us from podcast. Your support goes a long way, and it shows us that there's somebody out there receiving our signal. So, with all that said and done, do me a favor. If you have a question, if you have anything you want us to talk about, send us an email, ColdReadthePodcast@gmail.com. Come join our Discord. We have a community that we're building, and we have people that looking for advice, looking for anything, or even just want to chat, or even you want to catch the daily memes. Come on in. We love them. So special thanks to Fire and Brimstone for doing those every day. If you have audio, if you have a demo reel that you're working on, if there's a part you want to do, if there's a voice that you're developing, drop it in our audio. We would love to hear it live. We'll give you that constructive feedback. We won't deter you from it. We may tell you try it a different way, or you're hurting yourself and be careful. But that's about as strong as those are going to get. So don't be afraid. We've learned so much from listening to our stuff, and we've gotten better because of it. So don't be scared. Put it up.
Yeah, we want to see you succeed. So, at first the things we say may sound mean, but we promise that everything is in your best interest, because once you succeed, we all succeed.
Indeed.
There's a difference.
We're all in this together, guys.
Absolutely. There's a difference between being mean and being honest. Being mean means that we are just doing it just to hurt your feelings. But if we're being honest, we're saying it because we want you to improve. Keep that in mind.
The key word is constructive.
Yes.
Not just criticism. It is constructive criticism, a.k.a. you can build with it.
Yeah, 100%. So, with all that out of the way, thank you to both Renara and Eldurrino for holding down the ship, and I'm so sad to have missed that one interview, and sorry that we couldn't make it last week. I was still not at 100%, so we took another day off. I will say happy Mother's Day.
First.
What was that?
Health comes first,
This is
Zamoody,
true.
because we want you here, not somewhere else.
Yes. Thank you for that. I will also say we're recording this on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to those in the U.S., I will say.
But only the happy mothers, not the sad ones.
Yes.
Just the happy ones.
Yeah. Awesome. Sad ones. Hope you feel better. Let's check in with everybody. So I haven't heard from y'all in so many weeks. So Renara, how are you doing?
Oh, I'd like to. I'm gonna start by describing a picture, because I think it's best to this sort of picture encapsulates where I'm at. It's like I'm stood on the edge, on the beach, and I'm stood at the edge of the water, and the water is what I want, and the cliff face and everything behind me is what I've just gone through, and I'm literally just like steps away from being in the next phase of my life, and I'm not there yet. I've got some hurdles to jump through first, but this is the transition period of, if I get to this next point, I can't actually describe how relieved and secure I'll feel, and how much of a fulfillment I'm going to have if this happens. To give a bit of context, I had a job interview Friday.
Yeah.
In the real world, which is why there wasn't. Sorry, which is why there haven't been any shorts for a while, because I've been so focused on really getting that right. So I might not be very good on the short game next week either, because I have a couple of things to go through next week, which is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So, but once I'm through that, everything that I've gone through for the past half of this year will have properly meant something, and I think that's worth more to me than I think just this time period right now is worth more to me than any other time period. But alongside that, I had the opportunity. Well, one, I got properly cast in a few other things. Yay!
Awesome.
Which is like, this is really awesome. I needed this. And then I got the opportunity to be involved with Wes Johnson's Voiceapalooza, which he does with big name voice actors. And Skywind, or a team of us from Skywind, were invited on to talk about the mod, show some of the updated stuff, where it's at. And I got to meet Wes Johnson for like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it was like, I've somewhat met Jennifer Hale, and now I've actually video met Wes Johnson. If 12-year-old me knew that this was going to happen, I think she'd probably just punch me in the face because she wouldn't believe me. But it's just the thing of like, oh my God. I will probably go into talking more about it in this episode, but It was so amazing. It's over on the Skywind official YouTube page if you want to go check out the 2 hours we spent just talking about voice acting and everything. It's all up there. Mm-hmm. Oh, and very lastly, I can officially say I'm also involved in Fallout London. I'm officially involved in that mod as well. But that is the one that I am currently under a very strict NDA for. So I can say that I'm involved in it, but you can't ask me to tell you anything about it.
Gotcha.
But yes.
So what's the game about?
No.
I'm kidding.
It's about London and falling out in one way or another.
It's
Renara can't even confirm that. I mean, at this point, this NDA is so strict.
I'm not.
No, I know you're not.
With it, so I'll say whatever the fuck I feel like. So it's about you and your best friend. There's been this huge fallout over the past 40 years. You guys hardly even recognize each other anymore. But then all of a sudden, your friend shows up at your front doorstep, and he's like, "What's up?" And then he shoots you in the stomach, and then that's the end.
And that's the fallout right there.
Confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Brexit went so bad.
So when you get shot, you actually fall out of a window.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be pretty awesome if that happens.
I need to improve my improv game.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
All right. Well, good. Hi, it's good to see you, Renara. I'm glad things are going better. Dorito, how's it going? Hey.
We missed you a lot. I will say that first off.
Sorry.
Trying to, obviously, take care of yourself first. But I always am humbled every time I have to host this show because I realize I'm not a super great host. Like, I just make the jokes, Renara, and you know that. Like, I'm usually pretty quiet until I have to give my opinionated self, a little wisecrack. But no, the episode with Christina was awesome, and I'm sad that you were not able to experience that with us. So
yeah.
I'm glad you are feeling better, though. That makes me very happy to hear.
Thank you. Yes.
So, spoiler alert for any listeners. This episode is probably going to be a little low energy, maybe not on the side of Renara, but I'm exhausted. I have been nonstop working on stuff, including probably, I guess, tomorrow. My website is finally going live.
Woo!
Which will include my portfolio and all of the services that I offer, both voice acting and audio production. So tomorrow go check out dtsaudio.org. DTS standing for Destructive Two-Step. What does that mean, Vinny? Well, the two-step is a dance that was popular with hardcore and metal music. And to describe it as destructive means that it's very, very good, I guess. When you refer to something as, destructive or destroying or obliterating, what have you, it's actually a good thing, even though it sounds terrible. So, that's that's basically been like the last 2 days.
Gotcha.
Prior to that, I finished up a demo reel for a client. They were extremely happy with it. I have had another client, well, I can just say Josh Jargon approached me about doing some script writing there.
Yeah.
yeah. So, and then I really wanted to start offering my services as well as possibly other people's services to the world. So, that is the purpose of the DTS Audio Services program.
Nice
Company. I don't know. I haven't figured out full details yet. I'm
this is very young,
up and coming entrepreneur.
So I'm going to request a short show you demonstrating the destructive two-step, and we can put it up too. I'm just, if at all possible, have Meg record it because I would be so happy.
Yeah, let me work out a time to do that.
Oh my god!
Never.
Okay.
I'm sure I could probably involve my green screen and make it like fucking ridiculous. Like,
yes, please.
Please, are you actually okay? If this is
was
actually
it
going to
Civil
happen,
War? Was it
right.
it's Captain America's Civil War at the end with all? No, I'm sorry. It's one of the Avengers movies, but in any case, yeah. I'm just going to have like a bunch of buildings falling down and crap like that just because of my sick dance moves.
Yes. Yes. Please make this happen.
Of course, Eldurrino. Of course.
Sorry.
God, I don't even know. I don't even know what else I've been up to. It's just kind of been a whirlwind these past couple of weeks. Oh, and then another exciting bit of news. I really, really wanted to come up with a very short, like, musical blurb that you could play here. But I'm just going to have to settle with, get ready for the most anticlimactic announcement of all time. Eldurrino is under NDA.
Whoa!
Oh my god! That's right, everybody. I was invited to a project and I have to sign an NDA, so I can't actually talk about the project or the name of it or anything about it, but I am involved with a paid voice acting project. Hooray.
Huzzah!
Yep, that's it.
Cool.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Oh, and one last thing. I have found a new addictive video game. It's called Shadows of Doubt. It's a procedurally generated detective game. And despite its graphics looking a bit just because of the art style, it's a very, very fun, very interesting, and immersive game.
Ooh.
So highly recommend.
Hey.
And let me ask you real quick when it comes to that. Because I'm curious. I always like finding games because Papers, Please is a very specific, maybe not, but it's the graphics aren't great, but the game is so good. Is this something? Yeah. Have you played Papers, Please at all?
I have not. Okay. I have seen it. And I know the art style. It's so Shadows of Doubt is like a voxel art style where it's kind of meant to bring that like 32-bit 2D art style to 3D. So it's, the graphics overall, like the engine that is used, it's still pleasing in certain ways, but I find that if I play it for too long, which it's very hard to put down, I almost like my vision starts getting blurred. It's very weird. But no, super enjoyable game, and it's awesome that it is procedurally generated because that means that nobody's playthroughs are going to be the same.
Yeah, it's infinitely replayable. So that's actually kind of awesome.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, I haven't beaten a full game as of yet, so I don't know like what the replayability of it truly is. Because I fear that it like the murder investigations are only like a small part of the game. I feel like, whereas the rest of the time is kind of filled with like tailing jobs or like photography jobs or small little things. So I don't know. I want to give it a review, but I also want to beat it first before I say like what I rate it. But it's very fun, very enjoyable.
Cool. So within both of your or not intros but check-ins now, coming soon a review of this game, and then punching people in the face as a reaction is an overreaction.
What?
Renara's 12-year-old self punching big time Renara.
Oh, right. Yeah, fair.
That's not the way you want to react to people. So we'll say right now, Cold Read the Podcast does not condone you punching people in the face as a reaction.
Especially
Zamoody.
if your past self is punching future self.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
You hear that past me?
Just and all I see the psh coming up from the side.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
So
sorry.
Zamoody,
Yes.
how has your weeks been? Though
Well,
we kind of know it.
You kind of, yeah,
Weeks
you
with a
kind of
Z.
know, and you know, I'm always been very open with everything that's going on, even if it's with me personally. So, work got really busy. I've talked about the trainings and stuff that are going on at work, and we're getting ready to launch. Hey, this big program is coming July 3rd, which is, you know, like 40 some odd days away. So this my time is only going to get taken up even more, but yeah, it's my job is not fun at particular times, and in other times it is. I will say that. People get mad when you tell them no. Surprisingly, right? I mean, they're not.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that happens a lot. From a voice perspective, I've gotten again a lot of shortlistings. I haven't gotten anything past it. One of the more exciting ones was a superhero MOBA game, apparently, that they were working on from voices.com. I'm on the short list, but no, they never reached out. It was kind of like a Hulk type character, and apparently I got through on that. And again, I like the aspect that you can get shortlisted, and yes, I'm still using voices.com, even though there's all this other bullshit going on. But I've already paid for the stupid membership. What else am I going to do?
Yeah.
May as well use it. May as well, if you've given them the money, may as well use it as much as you can.
Yeah. So come November, I mean, I'm going to drop them like a hot rock unless something changes very soon. But
Goodbye.
A hot rock?
yes.
I've never heard that before. What? Is it supposed to be potato?
I mean,
Or an ugly baby?
to be perfectly honest,
what
I've
does
not heard
someone
either
dropped
of
like a
those,
rock?
but
Well,
hey.
I don't know. Okay, I'm combining shit, but that's because I'm bilingual. So
Okay.
give me a fucking break.
There
there.
you go.
Finally, I will say, as obviously you two have too, I'm under NDA as well.
Oh my god!
What? No dicking around?
Yes, no dicking around document that was signed and
Lord.
returned, and I'm under the same boat. So, what just happened?
That is I know, right? That's the first time all three of us are legally obligated to not talk. That's
Right?
It's
so
crazy.
weird for
It's
a talk
so
show,
hard. But yeah, I mean, take those things seriously. Don't fuck around
yeah.
with them.
Don't,
Yeah.
good lords.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much. So, Voiceapalooza.
Yeah.
So let's get into this. What is it? When did it?
So, to give a bit of backstory as to what Voiceapalooza is, it is a charity live stream that Wes Johnson and Kenneth Vigue. Oh God, I don't know how to say his last name. Oh, I'm
Kevin
so sorry,
Feige?
Ken. Maybe Vigue. I can't
Oh, never mind.
spell. But those two, they created this as a charity funding live stream to help raise money for the Alzheimer's Association, because both of them have had their families have been affected by this, and so what they do is they get voice actors who are both in the industry as well as community staff on to the stream, and they sort of it's like what we do here, but on a much larger scale. It was streamed on Twitch, and they raise money in the process.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky enough to be invited out of the entire Skywind team, which is over like 300 people, and I am very blessed for this. I do feel very blessed for this. But I was invited to be part of the Skywind panel, a team that was invited onto this. Skywind had recently released a updated version, like a sneak peek of one of the quests, so you guys can see where we're at with it. And I got to meet some of the original voice actors for the Morrowind and Oblivion, and I'm freaking out. It was amazing because they asked us a load of questions about the mod and our experience with it, but also they, throughout it, were giving advice and things, and they were asking kind of our way of working and then saying how they worked with Todd Howard and everything like that. And we found there were some similarities and also some differences from how things were run about 21 years ago, I think it's been since Morrowind came out.
Mhm.
I was 4.
Oh, don't start with the age thing again, because I always lose this war.
But it was, I'll quickly say the people we had on were, well, I say we, the people who were on were Wes Johnson, Elizabeth Nune, and David DuBois, which I love his last name for, all of which are in the games. You can hear all of their work. Elizabeth voiced the original Argonians, so it was really nice to hear sort of how she worked with her voice and how she managed that. And obviously, Wes Johnson loosening the chants and all of the guards and everything like that. And David was one of the oldest in that he was one of the first ones to voice the entire Ultima race in Morrowind.
My God.
And we started off with just sort of, we introduced ourselves and everything like that. And I did an absolutely awful American accent. So awful, because he asked us to do something stupid and I was not prepared. Did
you bring out the drawl?
No.
Did you show up and go, "Hey, y'all"?
No, I don't actually know, because I've skipped that part every time when I look back at the video feed. But it was just a small thing to say. We had to read a line in the voice of either Dolly Parton or Elvis Presley.
God. Oh,
and
my God.
I freaked out.
Wow. 2 very specific examples. What?
Yeah. We all mostly freaked out by it, to be honest. Some came, it was very interesting. But I won't go into too much detail at that. What I will go into is that nearing the end, we had more of the Q&A section of things. And that was when we really got to dig into different viewpoints and things like that. And one of the main ones the ones that stood out to me was the ones we were talking about, the pros and cons of unpaid work, because Skywind is a mod. It is unpaid.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of people who said it would never work because it's unpaid and so how big it was. And they've simply asked us what we thought the pros and cons were of paid work and being involved with some of this. And we sort of ended up sort of along the same lines of, it's money versus time, if that makes any sense, between paid and unpaid.
Yeah.
In unpaid, you get no money, but you have a lot of time to have the freedom to experiment, to learn, to grow, have those things, but then you're not getting paid. And I think one of my co-voice actors told an example of how he was paid something to have it turned around within like one night, and he was like, "Yeah, great. Oh my God. Okay. Sure. It's not going to be grand, but it can work." And then Wes jumped in and went, "You never tell him it's going to be shit. You always tell him it's going to be amazing."
And this goes back to my example. It's like you get the emergency plumber down here to work on the pipe, and dude, I need this done quick. And you don't want the plumber to turn back around and go, "Okay, but it's gonna be shitty." You know?
Exactly.
Is that a pun?
What? Oh, not intended. Not intended. Wow. Sorry.
Oh God.
But because I know we each have our own thing of views on paid work and things like that, and I know Eldurrino, you're very much, once you get to that point, you should be asking to be paid for your work, and I also get that. And what was really nice is Elizabeth actually told us after we talked about all this, don't be afraid of getting paid. Seriously, it's wonderful when the money comes rolling in. And it was just like, thank you for saying that, because I know we're all kind of thinking that. But again, we went into this project with the love and passion that we wanted to make this a thing. And in the weirdest way, both Wes and David both said that paid, free work is literally one of the best ways to learn in this industry.
Absolutely.
And that it gives you because Wes gave an example of his own son, actually. And his own son wanted to go into animation, and he wasn't a school person. He hated school. I think I can 100% empathize. I hated school also. Mm-hmm. But he also instilled the importance and the values of not necessarily getting the grades. It's not about getting the grades. It's about learning and producing that work ethic that gets you those grades. The grades aren't the end goal. It's that work ethic that you establish and learn to have as habits that gets you to the point where then you are being paid for your work, because it's that natural transition of you have all those qualities that you've learned through schooling and then onto apprenticeships and outwards like that. And that gave me a new perspective, at least, because when I was in school, I was told you've got to get the grades so you've got like a fallback option and everything like that. And to have Wes put that idea in my head of it's not about the grades, it's about the work ethic as you go, just made it almost click for me instantly. I went, oh my God, yeah, I actually get that now. And it's something that is attainable for absolutely everyone. And because a lot of people look at grades and they go, I can't attain that grade no matter how hard I try. It's not about the grade at the end of it. It's about what you've learned and how you get to that grade, if that makes any sense. And we won't go into whether they're representative or whatever. That's education. But it was the thing of he was sort of going into, with all of that, you then start to work at a professional level. And then by working at that professional level, you then get paid.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Guys, we're interning.
Yeah.
Any way you look at it, we are unpaid interns when it comes to all this shit. All this talk about doing free work and messing up the industry and everything else. No, we're unpaid interns. We're the garage band that got a gig and maybe we'll get a drink out of it, but at least they get to play a place. You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's truthfully, and I'm coming to realize this more and more, doing unpaid work isn't just because you're not getting paid at that moment does not necessarily mean that a project that you've taken a part in isn't going to take off, you know, and give you payment later on in the future. I mean, you know, for example, can I say yeah, I can. Jeff Leeson, a past guest that we've had on the show, is the person who approached me about this project that I cannot talk about. I would have never made that connection had I not started this podcast with Zamoody and Renara.
Yep.
Exactly.
Like, I would have never met him and never had this opportunity. And like in my eyes anyways, this is a big opportunity for me. So yeah, I mean, like, I know it sucks when you do the training and you feel like you should be getting paid. And truthfully, in my eyes, I think if you have the training and you're good at what you do, you should be getting paid for it. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with accepting a little bit of free work, at least, just to kind of dip your toes in the industry.
I think I'm sorry, Renara, but I think the big difference here is you're doing it because you want to do it. You're not getting forced to do it.
No.
And being offered clout or, you know, exposure.
Yeah. Wes put, again, I'm going to probably be referencing him a lot at the minute, but he used a really lovely phrase, which was, we are paying into our future, which is you're putting all of this in as for payment down the line. And what was really nice is he confirmed actually that Bethesda and the people who made the games actually do look at these mods and do look at the people in it. So that and wanting to bring this to life, because, and I said on stream, and I've said it here a million times, of when I was younger, I could not read properly. I could not. I have struggled with word processing and reading my entire life. Does not mean to say I don't struggle with it now. I still do on occasions. But it's that thing of each of us has gone through a journey through this mod, through how many years we've gone on this thing. And I want to see this finished. And it's why I put so much heart and soul into it, because I absolutely love these games. And if you find a project that is why you should be doing voice acting in the first place. Having that passion to do this is what makes it fun and why we do this. And it was so lovely to hear, because we had David talking about sort of the external factors with voice acting, being able to actively listen to yourself and critiquing yourself to improve yourself and these sorts of things. and externally. And then Wes and Elizabeth, because Lisa, I keep seeing Lisa in her name. Elizabeth were talking about they had to properly act behind the camera. Apparently, she accidentally kept knocking the microphone in the studio with Todd Howard because she's this Argonian woman, and back in Morrowind they walked really weird, so she's doing that in the studio, and she's like, I have to act it out, and I have to know where the placement of the voice is in my throat, and I've got to make sure that I'm taking care of it, because she's doing the really raspy nasally kind of for Argonians, and she was just sort of going on about sort of talking about taking care of your voice and making sure that you're not using the wrong technique, because your voice is kind of your moneymaker, and that you've got to really take care of it. And then Wes. Now, this is the thing. This is why I respect Wes so much, because he challenged me on a few things and took me seriously. And I felt really appreciative of that, actually, because at one point we talked about how, because we've said on here where we sort of have that whole disconnect of the voice acting as your product, and that's how we keep ourselves sort of somewhat safe in regards to when we take criticism, it's not directly reflected on you, sort of thing. That makes sense. And I talked about that, and then Wes kind of went, well, that seems like you're just putting the character on as a jacket. You are not that character. And he took it in the respect of playing the character, which is not necessarily, I don't know if that's how I meant that, but I still liked that he then challenged me on that and said, no, when you're actually going into being like doing like a character, you've got to, this is the thing. He sort of went into how you've got to take your own life experiences and take the words through you to bring that character to life. And I think to a degree, yes, but I do think you need to do that safely, because that can be a way to, if you're taking stuff, yes, take perhaps bits and pieces that you felt within an experience, but if that experience is too not great and it still causes you harm, be very careful with that, is all I would say on that front. And I wish I could have asked him more on that front, to be honest, but we didn't have time. But she was saying similar things to how you, Eldurrino, talk about how to take care of your voice and making sure you have that placement correct. And at the end of it, we ended up basically asking, what sort of advice would you give, like we do, what sort of advice would you give to voice actors and things like that? And
they took my question.
I know, right? And I'm sorry if I am rambling a lot, but it is just this thing of like, it was such an amazing thing, and I'm doing, I don't know, help voice. I'm sorry.
I'm sure Zamoody is like super anxious to hit the big red button sitting right next to him.
I know, right? I know. I've been rambling for like 20 minutes.
And rambles.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's been ready. I've had it here.
I know.
Well, I mean, we're also asking you to tell a story, so I don't want to like dissuade you from doing that.
Okay, fair enough. This is what happens when I tell a story. I just speak for several hours, and then
I mean, we're having instances to jump in, so this isn't a bad thing. How did you? Oh, go ahead.
Yours sounds more important.
Oh, God.
How did you get involved? First off, the request came a while ago. How were you chosen?
Okay.
How was all that picked out?
So because I've been involved with Skywind since pretty much its early inception, so 2016, I think it started being a thing 2013. So it was a couple of, I remember the original website that they had, which was like just a normal forum thing. And I remember, I don't even know if the person who hired me is still involved with the project, because I recently found on Trello one of his voice acting cards and it said inactive. And I'm going, oh my God, is he not even involved? What the? But it was definitely, I think it was the original guy who was heading the project. I got to talk to, and he's the one who put me forward for Dunmer, because I didn't audition for Dunmer. I auditioned for everything else but Dunmer. I know. That's how it happened. And now I'm here voicing half of the Dunmer race, several Imperials, and now a creature.
All right.
And the Argonian, too.
And the Argonian, which got featured in the thing. Sorry, yes. I'm having a nerd moment. But back to the actual question. Dear gods, I'm so sorry, listeners. But it was put as a separate thing in Discord chat, basically, and it was a separate tab called Voiceapalooza. And initially, the person just put a thing out several months ago saying, "Hey, Voiceapalooza is doing a spot for Skywind. It's not for a very long time. Who's interested?" And I immediately jumped on the bandwagon and went, "Yes, I'm very interested." And was one of the first people to kind of say, "Yes, I would love to be involved with that." Then other people sort of thing. And then they added a tag to everyone who was interested. After that, several months go by. I am completely none the wiser. I completely forgot about it until about 3 days before it was happening. And then the person who put it all together was like, "Hey, Renara, you still interested?" And I had to go, "What? What is this?" Went back, looked it up, because I don't know, my brain had completely blanked it. I went back, "Wait, what? Oh God, it's that thing. Yep, I'm going to make myself available for this. Absolutely."
I'm curious, was the time difference an issue?
Oh dear Lords, I was up till 2 a.m.
Okay, that's what I was curious about.
I was up from about like 11 till like 2. Well, I say 2. I think I probably had I think it was from maybe like 11, 12-ish till 2 or 1. I can't remember the actual timings. My brain was so fuzzy from that. I know I spent an hour afterwards just sort of going, "I can't believe I just did that. That hasn't sunk in yet." Oh my God.
I suppose the adrenaline is probably coursing through you.
I was so nervous because, again, I went into this again just few days before it was a thing, and I did not really know what was going to happen in there. And then you can tell on the video I am kind of nervous to start with, but then they start asking. I
didn't watch that. No.
But then once they started asking about the mod and the process of what it's like to be a voice actor on Skywind, I was in my feet. I was in my zone at that point. It was all over Zoom, and I've actually now I did that. I've actually, because when you're a voice actor in these large mods, you kind of get concerned about yourself a little bit, especially when you've got several Trello cards of different things you're doing, and you're kind of just sort of in your own zone, and everyone's just a Discord profile at this point. But actually going on that and meeting not only the OG cast, but some of the other people involved in it. And then I suddenly was like, "Oh my God, like, you're really cool." And then I added them all on Discord and they all friended me back. And it was just,
nice.
It was so lovely. And this is why I will always praise the modding community. I will continuously and always praise the modding community. Yeah. Because it provides community, sense of community. And it's where a lot of voice acting kind of starts, I think. It's probably a really good source, like LinkedIn and other places, there's a huge community of people who are making stuff that need voice actors. And if you're a voice actor and you are interested in video games, find somebody who's making a mod for that game, because the people who make that game are going to look at your mods and sort of see what's going on. And so that's kind of really why I did it. And it was just sort of that bringing me back to my roots a little bit. And then again, I've had a really rough few months. I mean, we've all seen that. And after doing this, it reminded me why I do this. It reminded me why I enjoy this so much. And so I empathize, Zamoody, with everything you said in your intro, because it was that reminder of, I love doing this. And this was the first thing I ever got. And this is why I'm doing it. And that's why I put myself forward for more. And I'm so much more active in the auditorium over there, because the auditorium is exactly like what we do for critiquing. People submit their audio who want to audition for this. And we, as voice actors already on the project, can give examples. And there's one example that Elizabeth gave, which is the best thing. And I think you two should use it. She calls her closet studio her Cludio. Cludio. And she calls it her Cludio, and it was it was amazing. And even these OG voice actors use similar tactics to what newbie voice actors still work. They use their closet. They use places like within their house. So you are doing the right thing, guys. If the OGs are doing it, you're definitely doing it.
Yeah.
So it was just that added sense of relatability between them. And it was what you can, if you're not seeing, well, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see how blushed I'm getting from and gushy from all of this. But it was just the thing of sometimes when you have people in this industry that you love and you admire and you look up to them and you feel there's this weird disconnect because they're successful, they've made it, they're doing all this. But then I sort of looked at that and went, but you're using exactly the same techniques as what I'm doing right now. And what you guys went through in your process of recording, because their process was they didn't have home studios to start with. They went in and all of the questions and the character and the development of understanding the character was done in studio at that moment.
Mhm.
They wouldn't get the scripts in ahead of time like what we can do. We can sit down and have a read through of what our scripts look like. They didn't have that. And they said that was one of the main differences between how we do it and how they do it.
Mhm.
And they were talking about how they had such great direction from Todd and someone else. I've forgotten the name of it. It just does it. I'm sorry. I forgot. Yeah. But they said that having great direction in the studio or having great direction for that was how their characters came to life, and as well as the fact is they asked questions. And that's something I always hammer and ask. If you're not sure, ask. Because if you're asking questions, you're interested and you want to do better and you want to understand how this is going. If you don't ask, you'll be floundering in the dark.
Nice.
And I have rambled too much now.
What a great adjective or adverb, I guess. Floundering.
I know, right?
Solid.
I know.
You know, what you just said reminds me that one of these days we should have an episode that talks about cold reads.
Oh,
Yeah, why
what
not?
a concept.
What
I mean,
a weird
like,
concept.
Yes, in this day and age, where you don't necessarily have to travel to a studio to be a successful voice actor, it still is important to know how to look at a script. Basically, only have like 30 seconds to a minute with a script, and be able to then go into your booth or step up to the microphone and be able to put out solid takes. I think that'd be a fun episode.
I think so too. We need a line judge. We need somebody to like pick them and distribute them.
Maybe we should get an old guest on and see and have them be that.
We could do a bunch of people. We could do a fucking party.
Yeah.
Special episode of Cold Read where we all do cold reads and
yes,
terribly.
I mean, it's what
read and cold cuts.
Oh, nice.
That means we're having sandwiches.
Okay, well, anything else that came out of your Voiceapalooza?
Oh, give me a minute to read through the 3 pages of notes I made after listening to the whole thing again.
Do you want to go through, or do you want to listen to the audio that you put forward too?
Well, in a weird way, I would like to, because again, this came in after listening to what Elizabeth had said about vocal textures.
Okay.
And I really went ham with this, and I was very surprised how easily I was able to continue this going, and I was pleasantly surprised in that regard. And apparently, I freaked people out when I did it.
Even more, I want to hear this now.
So, also headphone people who are listening to headphones, warning from that front, okay? Because it will sound kind of creepy. Let's just, I won't say what it's for. I'll let you guys listen to it, and I would like to see your guesses as to what kind of interesting character this might be.
I'd be cheating because I can see your file name.
Oh, no, you can. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Do you want, shall I just say it then?
No, well, we'll let Eldurrino figure it out and see how he does. So yeah, let's play this real quick. Here we go.
Let me sleep. Where are you, Lord? We cannot hear you. Speak to God! We cannot. Speak to us, please. What are you? Where is this place? I'm so tired. Let me sleep.
Thing.
There you go.
Bravo. Do you want to take a guess on what the character?
No, I do not. I am very. I will say I'm very proud of you because I know for a fact that we have had a few discussions about utilizing your vocal fry, as well as how best to use your diaphragm to really get that type of sound. And the fact that, like, I have never heard you do any type of textured voice before.
I know.
I mean, aside from the Argonian, but Argonian is really more in the throat, whereas with the type of, like, so I guess yelling that you were doing there, you're hitting that special sweet spot between your chest voice and your head voice, where you're going from, like, this is my normal speaking voice, so this is my chest voice. But when I'm way up here, this is more my head voice. And there's that little spot in your vocal cords where you can kind of flip between it. So the best, I'm gonna apologize for this. Actually, hold on. Let me see if I can change my echo cancellation and no noise suppression and no automatic gain control.
Oh, here we go.
So,
okay.
So essentially you'd be going, you get to that point by starting somewhere in your normal speaking voice, and then you push yourself up as high as you can go. So you go, So once you start feeling your voice flip over and it kind of becomes a little bit harder to phonate, that's that point. And then from there you need to push it. So you go from to
There it is.
So the fact that you have been able to go from saying something like "let me sleep" to "let me sleep,"
yeah, that's it.
I'm very, very proud of you, and I'm very, very glad to hear that you are expanding your repertoire. I have taught you well, my student.
So the file name is Ash Zombie.
Indeed.
Yes.
So I can give a little backstory about that. In that they are the creatures that you find wandering about Morrowind that are the second stage of corpus disease, which is a Daedric disease, which basically means they have no face. It's fallen off, guys. So they are hollowed faces and they've lost all the ability of their nose. So all of the rasp and the inhaling of the ash from a Death Mountain and everything, they have such a labored breathing that they can barely, exist. They're crazy. They are half living, crazy individuals that are suffering from a magical disease. And I voice all of the female ones.
Of course you do, because why not? It's just we'll give you all of them.
That does seem to be the habit of Skyward. It's like, Renara can do that, we'll give her that.
Give her all of them, it's fine.
I mean, that's how they did it in the original games, I'm pretty sure, and they still do. Like, there's so many NPCs within the world of Oblivion and Morrowind and Skyrim that have the same exact voice, which, like that's just kind of how stuff works in real life anyways. I think Family Guy even pointed that out as a joke, like two characters that have the same voice completely are never seen together for the most part because they have the same voice, but then there's a scene in which they are in the same in the same scene. They're like, huh. Why are our voices so similar? And they're like, oh, well, there's only so many voices out in the world.
Do you have time to look into what was your favorite part of Voiceapalooza?
Oh God. I actually think my I think my favorite part was, for me personally, was actually seeing the trailer bit, because in it I actually voiced one of the Argonians, because they asked me to do the line for that ages ago. I didn't even realize it was for this, and it was really nice to sort of also see my Argonian in Skyrim, and it's really cool. But it was the thing of I got to really answer questions about the process, and it was just really fun and rewarding to see the fruits of everyone's labor. I didn't even know this, but a lot of the architectural 3D designers in there have an archaeology background. Quite a few of them do, or an anthropology one. They actually think about the space and how it's meant to be lived in, and they have those discussions of, should this be one clay wall, or should it be split up to beams, and how would they live in that? And to hear that side of the process, which I never got to know until now, just again made me fall in love with this even more, because I know how much passion I was putting into it, but now I know just how much everyone else is doing, and now I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have this and see this, and I do plan to, once it's released, start streaming myself playing it and actually stream on Twitch and actually do that. Once it's out, that is my plan. So I would very much like to, because it's the thing of, also, some of my stuff I did several years ago. So I'm also kind of going, oh no, how did my old stuff sound? I'm not the only one, though, because we've got quite a few people who have asked, hey, has anybody gone back to their old stuff and listened to it and gone, I could do so much better now. And literally all of us from Voiceapalooza went, yeah, all the time. Yeah. And then our voice acting lead jumped in and said, but that just means you guys are growing, and that's a good thing. Yeah. And I was like, yeah. I mean, at the minute, Skywind has paused casting because we've got to do a few things behind the scenes before we can actually cast people. However, I can say there are still roles that they are doing stuff for. So once casting's open, again, there is still stuff. If people who are listening to this want to be involved in it, there is still stuff. You still have time. And
okay, Renara, I will apply.
Rebels. Please, that'd be so good. Or at least join the Discord, guys. Come on, the Skywind Discord.
I'm pretty sure I'm part of it. Yeah,
I don't think I am.
Join the Discord, guys, and it'd be really nice to see you guys in the public bits in the auditorium. And anyone listening, I'm in there and I talk to everyone. So there is no paywall or anything. If you want to come, just be in there and talk about the process and stuff, that's why it's there. Yeah. I will forever be Skywind's champion.
Renara is also available at the World of Cold Read Discord, which is the one offered in the description below.
I'm available on Discord pretty much anywhere, really, guys. So you want to get a hold of me? That's there.
I think with that, let's go ahead and start our little wrap up here. It's so I'm so happy for you that you were in the middle of this. You're so happy. I love to see you smile because of this. And for those of you who didn't watch this, feel free to tune into the YouTube so you can see Renara's wonderful smile as all of this is going down. Final thoughts? Anything else you want to quickly go through? Are you good?
If you want to do this, if you really want to do this, if you really love games, voice acting, anything, start now. Just get yourself a mic. Even if it's a headset mic, just get yourself there. Read books, record yourself. Start now, because if you don't start now, you'll just find obstacles to put in the way to stop yourself. So just give it a go, guys. We're all here because we decided, I want to do this sometime several years ago. And now it's brought us here. I've got to do this. It could be you next time. Whatever mod you might be a part of.
You may need to sign an NDA and watch what the hell you say.
Yeah.
There is so many twists and turns that I didn't even think would be possible until I started doing voice work. And if you want to go further back, I didn't even think I would be good enough because I couldn't read. Everyone has a story, and everyone has the potential to do anything. Just got to make that first step, guys.
100%.
I'll be cheering you on the whole goddamn way.
There you go. If you have any topics, anything you want us to talk about, you can email us coldreadthepodcast@gmail.com, or like I mentioned before, come join us on Discord. If you've gotten this far, do me a favor, and if you do decide to sign up for one of Vinny's things, tell him the code Zamoody sucks, and I will pay for $20 of your demo. This is only for this week. Let me know if it happens. I'll put in for
One
that.
time only.
One time only.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you got this far and you heard it, awesome. Please.
I'm just going to get a bunch of messages now that just says Zamoody sucks. I'm going to be like, what? Like, can I help you?
But yeah, if come on in, join us, and like I said, drop some audio. We want to hear it. We'd love to talk to you. Technical questions, acting questions, whatever you want. We have a network. We have people that will reach out that we can talk to that have been through this process or that are in the same place as you. Come join us and be part of the network. You never know what's going to help you out. Catch you all next time. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye. Remember to drink water.
Yes. Drink water. Bye. There it is.